Well, hello all my friends, welcome back, or if you are joining us for the first time, hi, my name is T and this is my YouTube channel, Compassing and Sewing. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my review of the Butterick B6763, which is this pattern right here, and it is a plus size pattern for plus size women. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern of a dress that has two different variations. So you have two different length variations, two different sleeve variations. You even have an option where you can actually use ties that go around the waist, or you can make a sash. It's just a really cute pattern. It has a button front for your closure. You're going to be using 10 buttons going down the center front. And then you also have, for the skirt variations, you can make just a regular skirt. It's a A-line skirt, so it's fitted at the waist and it flares out as it goes down towards the, I think it's like maybe around the calf area. But you can also choose the view that has the ruffle on the bottom. So view A, I believe, is the view without the ruffle, and view B is the view with the ruffle on the bottom. And I chose to make view B with the ruffle on the bottom and then also the flutter sleeve. So as I said before, this pattern has two different sleeve variations. So you can do a flutter sleeve, and then you can also do the regular straight sleeve. I decided to do the flutter sleeve because I didn't want to do any bicep adjustments or anything like that. And I was really, really grateful that I didn't have to worry about doing a bicep adjustment, especially with a flutter sleeve. So that's why I chose that view. This pattern features this really beautiful V neckline, which is a little bit low. So I did have to make some alterations and adjustments to the neckline, and I'll tell you about that here in a moment. The pattern also features pockets, and the pockets are, it's really weird because the pockets are actually placed, although they are inseam pockets, because you are attaching the ties to the side. I mean, if you decide to attach the ties and do the view that calls for the ties, you are also attaching the pockets below the ties. And so if I can remember, I'll go ahead and pop an image here so that you can actually see what I'm talking about. But you do have to kind of pay special attention to the pockets and the way in which you place the ties and the pockets on as well. But you do have the option to put the ties on as well as the inseam pockets. And I really love the pockets to this dress because it's just, you can really, really make this a casual dress, or you can make it a really nice fancy dress that you would wear to like church and certain events like that. And so I think the pockets is a really great option for if you want a casual dress. And so that's basically what I did. I chose to make the, like I said, view B with the flutter sleeve, the pockets, and I made the sash that goes with view B as well. However, in my pictures, as I will post here and you can see throughout this video, I actually styled it with a teal belt, but I do have the sash as well. And the sash, I believe the sash took maybe about a little over a yard of fabric, so you will need quite a bit of fabric for your sash if you decide to do the sash. The ties don't take as much fabric because they're just really small little ties. I think they're about maybe that wide, and I can't remember how long they are, but they're about that wide. And you actually put those you put those in the inseam and you tie them towards the front, so it's not like really long, so you don't really have to worry about using so much fabric for that. But for your sash, if you decide to do the sash, you will need quite a bit of fabric for your sash. I decided to go with this beautiful cotton lawn fabric that was sponsored to me by Minerva. So I have done a blog post for this, and I'll make sure that I put the link to the blog post in this video, in the description box of this video. So if you want to go over and read the blog for this, you can go over and read the blog for this. But anyway, I was sponsored this beautiful fabric from Minerva. It is a cotton voile fabric. Now this is a hydrangea fabric, and so you can see the big nice floral hydrangeas going throughout the print of this fabric, and that's one of the reasons why I chose this, because I really love how these big beautiful flowers are showcased throughout this fabric. So you'll notice that on the background is black, and then you also have the hydrangeas are teal, and then you have some white little floral fabrics on there as well. There are some green stems, and it's just a really beautiful fabric. I really love this fabric. The alterations and adjustments that I made a forward shoulder adjustment, and I shortened the waist because the waist was a little bit too long. But other than those two adjustments, I didn't have to do any other adjustments, which was surprising to me because it is a plus size pattern. I was thinking that maybe I would have to actually take the waist in a little bit. But I decided to just go ahead and leave the waist. I believe it's like, so the bust, I believe is 40, I won't guess. I'm going to go ahead and put it right here so you can see what those measurements are. I sewed 18W going all the way down for the bust, the waist, and for the hips, and then also for the sleeve pattern as well. So I sewed an 18 going straight across. And I didn't have any other problems. Like I said, the only thing that I had to do was that forward shoulder adjustment and shortening the waist. But other than that, I didn't really have to do anything else. The pattern really, this dress came together really well. I really love the style of the dress, like I said, and I love the drape and everything. Even though it's a cotton, it still has some kind of movement because it's a voile, and it still has like that movement. It's just such a beautiful flowy dress, and I can't wait to wear this for next spring. I don't see myself wearing this that much for the fall and for the winter, but I will be wearing this next spring, and I'm really excited about preparing to do that. So the other thing that I wanted to say, I wanted to talk a little bit about the neckline and how I actually stabilized the neckline, because even though I lined the garment, I decided to go ahead and put the facings in the neckline of the garment because I did not want to have, you know, I didn't want it to not have any structure. And so I decided to go ahead and sandwich the facings in between the outer shell of the garment and the lining of the garment. And so the facing is still on the inside, but I just trimmed it back by a lot. But I just wanted to make sure that I had some stability going down the center front, and then also for the buttons and the buttonholes as well. And so I still have that facing on the inside that's in between the shell of the garment and the lining of the garment. So I still have that in my garment. So for this particular project, you will need a challis, rayon, crepe, or some type of cotton blends for this particular project. And you will need, depending on the width of your fabric, so let's start with 45-inch wide. You would need somewhere around 4 1/8 of fabric to 4 3/4 yards of fabric, just depending on what size you choose. And then for your 60-inch wide fabric, you're going to need about 3 3/8 yards of fabric up to about 3 3/4 yards of fabric. So that's basically what you're looking for. And that's for view A. Now for view B, they call for a little bit more fabric, but that's only because they are accounting for the sash. And so on the 45-inch wide fabric, you might need up to 5 yards of fabric. And again, that additional yard and a half is because of the sash that you will be using. And it's the same thing with the 60-inch wide fabric. You will be adding about a yard or yard and a half on top of that. So it's not too bad, but you definitely don't have to make the sash. You can still get away with making this out of 3 1/2 yards of fabric. So I was working with 3 3/4 yards of fabric, so that's what I used for my project, and it turned out really great. So this pattern calls for 15 pieces, and again, just depends on what view you choose, but you won't have to do, because there's the extra sleeves, so that's one piece that you would not have to do. And then if you do one tie but you don't do the other sash, that's another piece. So you're looking at about 13, maybe 12 pieces for, you know, one pattern, depending on which pattern you choose. And then I also wanted to say real quickly about the bodice front. The bodice front, you have bust darts, and you also have waist darts at the bottom, and then on the back of the garment you also have darts on the back as well. So although it is easy pattern, you do have the buttons, You do have pockets. You do have also darting and things like that. So I would say that this is about an advanced beginner to intermediate pattern. But it is a beautiful pattern. It has great instructions. And so if you are an ambitious advanced beginner, I say that this will be a really great pattern for you. All right, everyone, so that is my review of the Butterick B6763. Thank you so much for tuning in today and hanging out. If you like this video, please make sure that you give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can receive notifications of all my videos when I post them. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you all have a happy and blessed sewing week, and stay creative. Bye.